This is the Strait of Hormuz. Iran's strategy here is simple. Choke off this incredibly narrow passage. It's a massive bottleneck where giant oil tankers are squeezed into just two tight shipping lanes, one for ships going in and one for ships coming out. They currently control three major islands positioned right along these corridors. Hidden deep inside them is a menacing network of underground bunkers and anti-ship missiles. So why is it so difficult for the U.S. to secure and clear the strait? While the IRGC doesn't use ships, but small boats launch in a 360-degree swarm attacks, the strategy is to take the bridges of larger ships. To make things even more complicated, the U.S. military would have to hunt down in those islands for each and every one of those underground bunkers using massive 5,000-pound bunker buster weapons. Take a look at the Middle East. This is how Iran is managing to block 20% of the world's oil transport. What's crazy is that major players like the UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, and even Iran itself all rely entirely on this one narrow corridor. First, let's look at the choke point. At its narrowest, the strait is only about 39 kilometers or 21 nautical miles wide. This northern coastline belongs to Iran and is highly mountainous. This provides natural camouflage and deep fortified bunkers for missile launchers. Plus, Iran controls a string of islands like Qashm, Lurak, and Abu Musa. Think of these not as islands, but as heavily armed, stationary, small anti-missiles defense system parked right on the edge of the shipping routes. And those routes, they are incredibly tight. Because the waters are shallow and filled with reefs, supertankers are confined to a strict traffic separation scheme. You have one 2-meter wide inbound lane, one 2-meter wide outbound lane, and a 2-meter buffer zone in between. If attacked, these massive cargo ships have virtually zero room to maneuver. But what are the tactics and strategy Iran used to control this narrow corridor? To block the Strait of Hormuz, you have to control the islands. And the IRGC relies on a triad of fortified outposts, each with a very specific and very deadly role. Here's strategy number 1, the Larak Island. Think of this as the choke point enforcer. LAR sits right at the throat of the strait, looming directly over international shipping lanes. The strategy here is all about close quarters intimidation because it's right on top of the transit corridor. IRGC fast attack boats stage here can reach a passing cargo ship in mere minutes. For the crew, they have zero time to react. LARC enforces strict no-move zones. Drones launch to monitor stationary tankers while speedboats physically surround them. If a captain decides to start their engines, they open fire. Then comes number 2, the Keshin Island, the heavy arsenal. If Lorak is a knife at the throat, Keshim is the sledgehammer. It's the largest island in the Persian Gulf and serves as the IRGC's primary military hub. Its rugged mountainous terrain hides a labyrinth of underground bunkers and mobile anti-ship missile launchers. Keshim is designed to launch heavy anti-ship missiles like the P-15 Hermit, packed with drone bases and radar installations. It is the strategic anchor of Iran's coastal defense. Then comes number 3, the attack point Abu Musa, or the forward outpost located further south, right on the doorstep of rival Arab states. Abu Musa is a heavily fortified early warning center. It extends Iran's anti-access or area denial bubble deep into the Gulf. Radars here track incoming Allied warships and cargo vessels long before they reach the choke point. It's a launch pad that drastically widens the threat zone. So how did they attack the cargo ship? Firston will launch the fast attack swarm. The IRGC deploys fleets of small radar-evading speedboats clocking in at 50 to 70 knots. 10 to 20 of these boats will swarm a single cargo ship from 360 degrees. They zip in close, targeting weak points with heavy machine guns and shoulder-fired missiles. They aim for the bridge to blind the ship and the engine room to leave it dead in the water. Hidden within this chaos are unmanned suicide vessels, remote-controlled drone boats packed with explosives steered directly into the hull to blow a massive hole at the waterline. And while the crew was completely overwhelmed, other boats rapidly drop-tethered naval mines directly into the ship's path. Stop the ship or risk snapping your keel in half. Then comes the second tactics, anti-ship missiles. If a swarm doesn't get you, the missiles will. Fire from highly mobile trucks that immediately retreat into fortified caves. Coastal defense cruise missiles like the Noir or Gator employ a deadly trick. But the West isn't exactly defenseless. When Allied warships enter the strait to escort cargo ships, they form a high-tech defensive bubble. Here's how they counter the IRGC's mines. Navies deploy littoral combat ships and specialized mine countermeasure vessels using high-frequency towed summoners, underwater drones, and Seahawk helicopters. They scan the water ahead of the convoy, detonating mines before the cargo ships ever arrive. But how do you counter the anti-ship missiles? Allied destroyers rely on advanced networks like the U.S. AGS combat system. The exact moment an Iranian missile is launched to destroyers, Raynor tracks it and fires interceptor missiles like the SM-2 or SM-6, blowing the threat out of the sky midair. Meanwhile, Apache's Seahawk helicopters pick off swarm boats from the air using Hellfire missiles. But at the end of the day, the ultimate countermeasure isn't defense, it's offense. The U.S. and its allies keep an armada of surveillance drones monitoring the Iranian coastline in real time. If they detect mobile missile launchers rolling out of mountain bunkers or boats loading mines at port, Allied fighter jets and ship-launched Tomahawk missiles are tasked with destroying them before they can fire a single shot. Hidden deep inside underground bunkers, these Iranian P-15 anti-ship cruise missiles posed a massive threat to international shipping in the Hormuz. To neutralize the risk, U.S. forces dropped multiple 5,000 LLB deep penetrator bombs on hardened coastal missile sites. The weapon they used is a GBU-72, a 5,000 LLB precision guided bomb fitted with a jam kit. These huge munitions can smash through 160 FT of earth or 20 FT of solid reinforced concrete. Once they break through, they trigger a massive explosion that completely wipes out the underground structure. And speaking of defensive bunkers, once your personal info bombarded with spam mails, junk calls, and online breaches, this data doesn't just result in spam and scam attempts. It can also affect your insurance rates and ultimately will lead into a loan denial just when you might need credit. Incogn helps protect your privacy by regularly scanning and preventing data brokers from re-uploading your information. You'll also get a clear real-time dashboard to track the status of your data. As an add-on with Incogn Unlimited plans, you can gain access to this custom removal tool. That's where Incogn comes in. Copy the link of any site exposing your information. Go to the custom removals tool, paste the link, and click submit. That's it. Then wait about 3. That was the first layer of defense. The second layer involves a close-in weapon system, such as the flanks. At the top is the Ku-band's search radar. Just below it is the Ku-band tracking and gun-laying radar. And further below is the 20mm Gatling gun that spits out 4,500 rounds per minute. All these rounds are fed from an ammunition drum and lineless feed. Let's take a closer look at how this works. When the FANGS is activated, the search radar acquires an inbound drone threat at a distance of 10 nm. The search radar continues tracking, and the software confirms the threat. The fire control radar then locks onto a target at 5 mixers. Approximately 2 miles away, or at the optimal range assigned by the software, the gun opens fire on threat 1 and continues firing until a hard or soft kill is achieved by expelling tons of almost endless rounds, destroying any drones, boat, and planes that come near the ship. If that doesn't work against small targets, then this is another close-in weapon system, the CRAM. If the preceding method proves ineffective against small targets, another close-in weapon system, the CRAM, comes into play. The CRAM integrates the radar and electro-optical system, the followings. But this bad boy alone packs an 11-cell RAM launcher that can be reloaded, thus creating an autonomous system that can engage threats without relying on external information. Within the CRAM is the RIM-116 rolling airframe missile equipped with an infrared homing device. This small, lightweight infrared homing surface-to-air missile is specifically designed for engaging subsonic missiles such as the Soviet-era P-15 re-engineered by Iran, which maneuvers in close proximity to the oceans to evade radar. The CRAM defense system activates in such scenarios, destroying anything within a 6-mile radius with a 90% hit accuracy. But where exactly did Iran get these anti-ship missiles, and how do they actually work? The answer traces back to the Cold War. These are originally Soviet-era weapons. When launched, the first stage booster fires off for 2 to 3 seconds, after which the second stage takes off. It searches for a target using analog radar. When locked and ready, it can destroy a ship using a hollow-shaped charge warhead. This has the potential to either destroy or sink a cargo ship if it hits at the right angle. But they didn't stop there. They actually took the SA-2, which was originally designed as a surface-to-air missile, and completely re-engineered it into a deadly anti-H ship weapon. The converted SA-2 missile can be launched from within 45 kilometers or 28 MEI from the target. This SA-2 guideline is designed to attack U.S. warships. To do this, it will have to fire around a couple of these to damage or disable it, along with 2 land attack cruise missiles in the southern Red Sea over a 10-hour period that commenced at approximately 6:30 in the morning on December 26th. These actions create a psychological impact and disrupt trade routes. Fortunately, the U.S. destroyer's defense system kicks in and successfully destroys the incoming threats. For bigger ships or warships like the aircraft carriers or the U.S. destroyer Berkeley class, this is how they would have attacked. The first stage involves launching multiple drones to overwhelm the warship's defense system. In the second stage, a couple of Soviet-era anti-ship missiles like the P-15 or P-21 are launched. These missiles travel at a speed of Mach 0.95 and can pack a punch when hit. The third stage involves launching converted surface-to-air missiles into an anti-ship missile. These flies at a speed of around Mach 3.5, capable of seriously damaging warship. If you found this video informative, please like and subscribe our channel.